Hello children, good morning everyone, and this is your Priya ma'am from Alpha International School. So today we are going to discuss development chapter 1 in economics, right? So in the first session we have discussed some parts. So we have discussed about what a development promises, different people, different goals. Like we have discussed about the poor people and the rich people and how they are depending on their needs for the survival, and the difference between their needs and who are caring about others and who are caring about themselves. And another thing we are discussing about the income and other goals. So income and other goals, even though we have many needs regarding the income and economical growth, we are not only depending on that. Apart from the money, there are many things which plays a role in this society that we have discussed. Later, national development. We have discussed about the national development and how to compare different countries or states. And now we are going to discuss about how to compare different countries or states. So let me read these paragraphs first. You might ask, if development can mean different things, how come some countries are generally called developed and others underdeveloped? Before we come to this, let us consider another question. So when we compare different things, they could have similarities as well as differences. Which aspects do we use to compare them? So let us look at students in the class itself. So how do we compare different students? And they differ in their height, health, talents and interests. The healthiest student may not be the most studious one, right? And the most intelligent student may not be the friendliest one. So how do we compare students? The criterion we may use depends on the purpose of the comparison, and we use different criterion to choose a sports team, a debate team, a music team or a team to organize a picnic style if for some purpose we have to choose the criterion for all round progress of children in the class. And how shall we do it? And explanation part. Children, we have discussed about the poor and the wealthiest people, right? So when we compare regarding the different countries or states, how to compare different countries or states, before going into the detailed description about the comparison between the different countries or states, so let us discuss about the differences between the students in our class. So how can we differ the students? The first thing, the similarities is all of you are belonging to the grade 8 and all of you belonging to Alpha International School, and all of you have the same uniform and the same books, right? This is the similarities. So when we want to compare each and every individual student in the class, how will we compare that? That is, we will compare you regarding your height, health, talents, maybe sometimes your color also, and your interest in which way, in which topic or which concept you are interested in. Maybe it is a subject or the sport, okay. And it is not that all the healthiest people will study well. Who said that all the cleverest guys are really healthiest? No. So it's not that who eats good food and healthy food will read well. It is not that. And another thing, the most intelligent fellow, the most clever boy in this class, he will not be a friendliest one. I am not saying that the intelligent fellows will not be the friendliest. Some of them may not be the friendliest one, even though if they are intelligent, right? So this is how we are comparing the students. So the criteria, now we are just talking about their heights, interests or talents or health issues. But when we are segregating the students into criteria, it depends on comparison. So some of the people, they will be interested in, some of the students may be interested in the sports, some of them will be debate session or in their communication skills, right? And some will be interested in the dance or music, and also some students will be interested in doing some artwork, like, and also like leadership, organizing something. So now according to that we will divide according to their criteria, we are going to divide the people into the sports team, debate session, music team, dance team, right, and organizing team. Still, if some purpose, if we choose some other criteria in all round progress, some children will be there who can do all the things in that class. Okay. Now let us see here. Usually we take one or more important characteristics of persons and compare them based on their characteristics. And of course, there can be differences about what are independent characteristics that should form the basis of comparison. Friendliness and spirit of cooperation, creativity or marks secured. Now if you look here children, the differences between the criteria we will be discussing, the children will be characterized into according to their characteristics, right. So here what is the important characters that we have to do is, first is basis on the basis of the comparison, it can be divided and the friendliness or their interest in the cooperation, their willingness, volunteering how to cooperate, okay, their spirit of cooperation and the way the strategies what they are following to secure the marks. Okay guys, so this is about the first slide. And coming to the next one is, this is the true of development too. So this is a true thing in the development also, and for comparing countries, their income is considered to be one of the most important attributes. Countries with higher income are more developed than others with less income. This is based on the understanding that more income means more of all that human beings need, and whatever people like and should have, they will be able to get the greater income. So greater income itself is considered to be one important goal. And now what is the income of a country? Intuitively, the income of the country is the income of all the residents of the country, and this gives us the total income of the country. So coming to the explanation part children, so till now according to the characteristics and categories, criteria, we have divided all the children, right, and along that it can be implemented, it can be implied in the development also. So now when coming to the countries, when we are comparing the countries, their income is considered first. So when we are talking about two families, what we will say, okay, they are wealthiest people, அவங்க நல்லா இருக்கப்பட்டவங்க, இவங்க ரொம்ப poor family, first அதுதானே பேசுவோம் ரெண்டு family பத்தி பேசும்போது. The same thing, the income will be considered as one of the most important attributes to start comparing between the countries or even an individual. The countries with higher income are more developed than the others. And till today when you are talking about the countries which are more developed, first we will talk about the America and second we are going to talk about the Russia. And today if you see the Facebooks or YouTubes, எங்க பார்த்தாலுமே Russia, America news only we will see when we check about the international news, because those are the countries which are developed economically and those are the most important thing which has higher income in their countries. Okay, so when we are comparing these countries, we compare them only the countries with higher income and the countries with a lower income, less income. And these sort of comparisons, these are based on understanding that like more income means like more of the all that human beings need, more people need income more. So in the country, if an individual or group of the people earn more income, and that country will be the wealthiest country. Okay, so whatever the people like and should have, they will be able to get the greater income. So greater income itself is considered as what? One of the important goal. And what is the income of the country? And the country the income of this country is the income of all the residents of the country. That country particularly, the government will not hold any sort of wealthiness always like income thing to maintain the like what the result or the status in the world. The thing is, the all over income which all the residents in that country belonging there, their income will be considered as the country's income. Okay, and this gives us the total income of the country when we include the residents incomes also. Now coming to the next thing, however, for comparison between countries, total income is not such an useful measure. Since countries have different populations, comparing total income will not tell us what an average person is likely to earn, or people in one country better off than others is a different country. Hence we compare the average income, which is the total income of the country divided by its total population. The average income is also called per capita income. So in World Development Reports brought out by the World Bank, this criterion is used in classifying countries. Countries with per capita income of USA 12616 per annum and above in 2012 and are called rich countries, and those with per capita income of US 1035 or less are called low income countries. And India comes in the category of low middle income countries because its per capita income in 2012 was just USA 1,530 per annum. And the rich countries, excluding countries of Middle East and the criterion, certain other small countries are generally called developed countries. Coming to the explanation part, children. So the comparison between the countries is like what? The total income is not such an useful measure since countries have different, because we cannot take all the total income mass into the consideration, because some countries have population, very less population, right, and some countries have more population, and comparing to their total income, it will not tell us the average persons how much they are earning. For example, according to, like, unlike China, we Indians also, we are having so much of population. Then but why we are not having too much income, and we are not we are not like a wealthiest country, right? And Japan, they are having very less population, but they are the one of the wealthiest country. So it is not depending upon average person's earning, it is depending upon the average person earning, how much they are earning. And these people in the country, they are like when compared to different countries, we have to just concentrate on the earnings, not on the people, the number of people. So we compare the average income, which is the total income of the country, but not the population. So that will be divided by the population. So the formula here we are using is like average income. So average income means what? The total income of the country divided by total population. And the average income is also called what? Per capita income. So according to the census we have taken from the World Development Reports, it was brought out by only World Bank. World Bank is the only one which gives us the World Development Report. In all that metropolitan cities like Mumbai, Chennai and like all the cities, they will be having a World Bank which always take the census and about the listings of the earnings of that states, okay. And it is just to classify the countries, and countries with per capita income of USA 12,606 per annum and above in 2012 they are called rich countries. So in 2012 the countries which are having like 12,606 USA per annum, they come under the rich countries, and some countries the per capita income of US is 1035 or less than 1035 will with low income, they come under like they come under low income countries, and according to the 2012 survey, okay. Next, this is another new topic, income and other criteria. When we looked at individual aspirations and goals, we found that people not only think of better income but also have goals such as security, respect for others, equal treatment, freedom, etc. in mind. Similarly, when we think of a nation or a region, we may, besides average income, think of other equally important attributes. So when we are looking into the individual peoples and their earnings and their goals, we can find that people not only thinking about the higher income, but they are also, we have discussed about this topic in the last session, right, that the people are not only depending on the income, but they are also searching for something more than security, respect, safety and equal freedom and freedom, etc. like that. In our, we have discussed, right, if we are getting a low job, transfer and like what we have permanent job with a low salary and no safety, we have discussed about those job related things in the last session, that is coming here. And what could these attributes be? Let us examine this through an example. So here table 13, if you see in this topic in the textbook, there they have given table 1.5 which gives the per capita income of Maharashtra, Kerala and Bihar. Actually these figures are of per capita net state domestic product at current prices of 2012. So if you see 1.3 table which was given about the comparisons of two countries, you just look into that picture and also the table, children. So the current prices of 2012 to 13, let us ignore what this complicated term exactly means. So roughly we can take it to be per capita income of the state. We find that of the three, Maharashtra has highest per capita income and Bihar is at the bottom. This means that on an average a person in Maharashtra earned rupees 1,07,670 in 1 year, whereas on an average a person in Bihar would earn around only 28,774 rupees. So, if per capita income were to be used as the measures of development, Maharashtra will be considered the most developed and the Bihar the least developed states of the state. So, now let us look at the criteria, certain other data pertaining to these states given in table 1.4. So, when we are checking into this children, table 1.3, here Punjab, Kerala, Bihar they have given, right. So, according to that the country which is having higher income means, for example, the Maharashtra the higher income per person is what, 1 lakh. So, according to per individual's income the total will be more, right. So, that is why Maharashtra is standing in the highest average thing, and in the Bihar individual person is having, this is just an example, rupees 28,774, it just falls into the listing. Okay guys, and now here you can see this. So, this is a table of 1.4, we can discuss about this, just have a look on it. This is a comparison between the Punjab, Kerala and Bihar. This is infant mortality rate, literacy rate, net attendance ratio for class 1 to 5. So, explanation of some of the terms. Here infant mortality rate, it indicates the number of children that die before age of 1 year as a proportion of 1000 live born in that particular year. Literacy rate measures the proportion of literate population in the 7 and above age group, and net attendance ratio is the total number of children of age group 6 to 10 attending school as a percentage of total number of children in the same age group. Here infant mortality rate means what? It indicates that, for example, in 1 year if the children are, if 1000 children are born, now here we will be calculating the number of children who are dying without completing 1 year age, they fall under the infant mortality rate. For example, here if 1000 children children were born in 1 year, in Punjab 49 children were died. They were dead when they passed away before completing their 1 year. Kerala 11 children and Bihar 16. And literacy rate means what? It measures the proportion of literate population in the 7 and above. The children who are studying at the age of 7 and above, they fall under the literacy rate, okay. And net attendance ratio is a total number of children which fall under the age group of 6 to 10 who are attending the school as a percentage of total number of the children in the same age group. So, this is the calculation and this is the table survey which was taken in the year 2003, 2001 and 1995 to 1996. Okay. And what does this table show now? Now, this table we have discussed, right? The infant mortality rate, literacy rate, and according to this what we have understood is, so the first column of the table shows in Kerala out of 1000 children born, 12 died before completing 1 year of age. But in Maharashtra the proportion of children dying within 1 year of birth is 25, which is more than double. On the other hand, the per capita income of Maharashtra more than of Kerala as shown in the table 1.3 if you notice. So, now just think of how you are like how your parents are loving you when comparing to the other students who are not able to, other children who are not able to even survive more than 1 year. Think of how everyone is so happy with a child is born, right? When a child is born, all the parents are really happy. And now try to think of parents whose children die before even celebrating their first birthday. We have to think about their mentality and their status, right? And how painful it must be for these parents losing their child even they are not completing their first birthday. And next, note the year of which this data pertains. So, it is like 2012. So, we are not taking of old times, it is more than 65 years after independence when our metro towns are full of high rising buildings and shopping malls. And the problem does not end with the infant mortality rate. The last column of the table 1.4, around 2/3 of the children aged 14 to 15 in Bihar are not at all attending the school after completing the 7th or 8th standard. In Bihar, the children more than the age group belonging to like 14 to 15 in Bihar, they are not even attending, they are stopping their studies, they are discontinuing their studies. Okay, this means that if you went to school in Bihar, more than 2/3 of your class would be missing. So now you are studying what, 8th standard. Now at present if you go there, you can't see, only 1 or 2 will be sitting in the class because the other children are just discontinuing their studies, and those who could have been in school are not there. You will be missing everyone. And if this had happened to you, you would not be able to read what you are reading now. It means now if you are in Bihar, you could not read all these lessons now. It means you are not in Bihar and you are staying somewhere else, right? So here look at the picture, the most babies do not get even basic health care in those areas. That is why the children, the babies are losing their lives. Okay. Now coming to the public facilities. The public facilities. How is it that the average person in Maharashtra has more income than the average person in Kerala but lags behind in these crucial areas? The reason is money in your pocket cannot buy all the goods and services that you may need to live well. Now, here the average person in Maharashtra has more income, right? When comparing to the average person's income in Kerala. But it is just lagging behind in crucial areas like in education process, okay. The reason is the money in your pocket can't buy all the goods and services what you need to live, okay, satisfactorily. And so income by itself is not a complete adequate indicator of material goods and services that citizens are able to use. For example, normally your money cannot buy you a pollution free environment or ensure that you get unadulterated medicines. Unless you can afford to shift to a community that already has all these things, money may also not be able to protect you from infectious disease unless the whole of your community takes preventive steps. Now the situation which we are staying is the right example for this student. So money can't buy everything and money can't give everything. The COVID which we are suffering now, the corona, it's not just affecting the poor people and it's not just affecting the rich one. Even though they are the wealthiest, you have seen many cine actors, directors who were affected with this corona, right? But their money, did it help them? No, only some of them who are they are just taking the preventive steps or who had just found it just earlier, they were saved. But what about the others? They are not able to find out or they are not able to survive. So money doesn't matter, and with the money we cannot buy any pollution free air, pollution free environment, and today the global warming is one of the things which is affecting our planet, right, and we are not able to bring the peace and the cooling, the what we are expecting from our nature mother, right, everything is ulta. Is it so? And the same thing, the medicines which the parents or the elders, the adults which are using, that we cannot bring, we cannot buy even if we have money, except it is an illegal thing, right? Only the illegal manner only we can buy those medicine which is unadulterated, right? So, if we need in some communities we can get all those things because that community is already shifted to that way of things to get using the money. And we cannot even protect ourselves from these infectious diseases like what now we are suffering with viral fevers, COVID and all. And because not even the whole community can take the preventive steps, one we have got affected. And actually for men, like very many of the important things in the life, the best way is also the cheapest way is to provide these goods and services collectively. So the best and cheapest way is what? Providing the goods and services collectively, that which will be available for all the people, and it should be close to the hands to buy. So just think, will it be cheaper to have collectively security on the whole locality? Is there any security for us? And if you have our own security man for our house, for safety and security, can we appoint any security man for our house? No. So when we are talking about the cheapest thing or the safe and secure thing, we can't afford any security for our houses. And if what no one or other than you in your village or locality is interested in studying, so only you are willing to study and none of your classmates, for example, the video which I am recording also, nearly 20 members are there in your class. I hope nobody will be watching this video, what I am recording now, because or at least the 10 members in your class starts watching the classes, the other 10 will automatically come and watch the classes. So that is the thing which spreads like a disease. And would you be able to study if no one are studying? No. Then you will also keep quiet? No. You have to take action and you have to call upon your friends to attend all the classes. So not unless your parents can afford to send you to home private school elsewhere. So you are actually able to study because many other children also want to study. Once school reopens, you will not wish to come and attend the school, but your friends will be coming to school. Automatically your parents also kick you off to the school. Then you will be attending because all the children are coming. So that is the way how we are getting used to our society, right children? So many many children, they also want to study, and because many people believe that the government should open the schools and provide other facilities, because if government is opening the schools with all the facilities, why the children has to discontinue their studies, or why the children has to suffer with the private schools fee structures, right? So all the children will get a chance to study and get an equal facility school which other private school children are getting. So government has to take an action wherever the schools, wherever the children are discussing or they are just discontinuing their studies, right? Yes, even now in many areas, children, particularly girls, are not able to achieve secondary level school. They are not able to complete their plus 2 also. The girls were not allowed, they were restricted because the government or the society has not provided equal facilities which boys are getting or what the girl children needed in their schools. Okay. Now Kerala has a low infant mortality rate because it has adequate provisions of basic health and educational facilities. Similarly, in some states, the public distribution system PDS functions well. If some PDF shop means ration shops, it does not function properly in such places, the people there are able to get the problem rectified. Health and nutritional status of people of such states is certainly likely to be better. So mortality rate, the children who are dying per year, the count if we compare now, only Kerala is having very low infant mortality rate, because Kerala people are getting more and more basic health and educational facilities. They are getting the provisions, basic provisions in basic health needed things abundantly. And in some states, the PDS means what? Ration shops, public distribution system. We also have the public, they will be distributing some ration things. So that does not function properly. There will be all old stocks or some expired things. So when people are buying that, they will definitely get affected with that. So people who are not able to get that, the problem will be rectified only if it does not function properly in such places. And health and nutritional status of the people of such states, it will be really better. Okay. Now next thing, sustainability of development. So whichever way we define, suppose for the present that a particular country is quite developed, we would certainly like this level to development to go up further, or at least be maintained for further generations. And this is obviously desirable. However, since the second half of the 20th century, a number of scientists have been warned that the present type and levels of development are not sustained. Groundwater is an example of renewable resources These resources are replenished by nature as in the case of crops and plants. However, even these resources may be overused. For example, in the case of groundwater, if we use more than what is being replenished by rain, then we would be overusing this resource. So, non-renewable resources are those which will get exhausted after years of use. We have a fixed stop on earth which cannot be replenished. We do not know of earlier new sources. In this way, add to the stock. However, over time even this will get exhausted. So, coming to the explanation part, children, sustainability of development means what? The way when we are defining, suppose for the present that a particular country is very developed well, we would certainly like this level of development to go up, because we all are expecting that only for the development of our country, development of our nation, okay, that at least to be maintained for future generations, and that is very desirable for us. And since the second half of the 20th century, the number of scientists have been warning that the present type, and many scientists were warning us before. Till now also we are getting many warnings that, right, in after 50 years or 100 years we are going to get tsunamis, and the nature mother is going to expel like this. So, but we are now, we are just listening to the, oh my god, this is going to happen, that's all. The next day we will do our work. That is the thing what we are doing today. For example, what the groundwater water is just reducing day by day, and these resources are replenished what by the nature. So, the crops and plants have been getting reduced. So, these resources we are getting, we were using, overusing, right? And in the case of groundwater, if we use more than what is being what is being produced by the rain, the, for example, children, if we need to wash our hands, 1 glass of water or 2 glasses of water is enough. But what we are doing, we will just open the tap, keep the hands there, and we will chat with our friends. That is what we are doing. Is that necessary? So, how the process of rain is happening? You know, a big cycle of processes, rain evaporating and just forming into clouds, again they are just falling on the ground in the water. But the amount of water, the amount of rain we are getting, when we are comparing the usage of water, what we are doing is very more. At that time what happened, the groundwater level will be reduced. So, by overusing this resource, the rain will also get replenished after some years, okay, in the future. So, non-renewable resources are like which will get exhausted after years. Even the non-renewable resources also will get exhausted. If you want from here to go to the next street, we need a two-wheeler. We can't go by walk, right? That much heroes are we. So, we have only a limited stock in our earth which cannot be replenished, but we do not know about that earlier. Today we are fighting that petrol and diesel charges have been increased. We know only to fight, but we do not know how to save or preserve that. So, once an individual realizes his duties and responsibility as a human being and as a citizen, we will not have any problems. So, the new sources in this way add to the stock. However, over time even this also will be exhausted if we go on follow the same method to waste the natural things. And for example, here I have given two examples here. First one is crude oil that we extract from the earth is a non-renewable resources. However, we may find a source of oil that we did know of earlier. Children, if you know, in our earlier days, in the past days, in those ancient days, people used to use a very pure oil. So much of plants, like groundnuts, palm, we used to get the pure oil and they used to eat, they used to cook with that. That is why they were really healthy. We know that in these years we are dying, we are not even able to survive more than 70 or 80 years. And today, do you know the oils which we are using for cooking, you are just thinking that all the oils are getting from the plants. No, 50% of the oil is from the plants and 50% is from the crude oil. You don't know the facts. If you just discuss with the people who are supplying to the oil factories now, like transports, the raw material suppliers, if you ask them, they will say that 50% what we are cooking today is only the crude oil only. And we have not inherited the world from our forefathers, we have borrowed it from our children. Our forefathers, our ancestors have saved the nature and gave to us, and today we are enjoying happily. Our duty is we have to give the same nature with all the facilities to our children. But what we are doing? We are surviving with all the facilities what we are getting, and also we are just grabbing, not borrowing, we are grabbing our children's future also. ஓகேவா? எனக்கு ஒரு வீடு போதும், வீட்டுக்குள்ளே இருக்கிற ஃபர்னிச்சர் போதும். 4 வருஷம் கழிச்சு அந்த ஃபர்னிச்சர் பிடிக்கலன்னா தூக்கி குப்பையில் போட்டு புதுசாக ஒரு ஃபர்னிச்சர் செய்வேன். ஒரு வீடு பத்தாது, இன்னொரு வீடு வேணும். அந்த வீடு வாங்குறதுக்கு இப்போ ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஒரு ஃபார்ம் வாங்குவோம், அந்த ஃபார்மை ஃப்ளாட்டை போடுறோம், அந்த வீடை கட்டிடுறோம். ஸோ அங்கே இருக்க வாட்டரு போச்சு, அங்கே இருக்க பிளான்ட்ஸும் போச்சு. நம்மளுக்கு என்ன தேவையோ அதை மட்டும்தான் யூஸ் பண்ணணும். நம்ம ஃப்யூச்சர், நம்ம ஏன்ஷியன்ஸ், நம்ம ஆன்சிஸ்டர்ஸ் கிட்டேருந்து நம்ம நிறைய நம்மளுக்காக சேர்த்து வச்சாங்க, நிறைய நல்ல வழியெல்லாம் சொல்லி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. நம்ம அதெல்லாம் எடுத்து யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டோம். ஆனால் இப்போ இருக்கிற ஜென்ரேஷன் நம்ம ஃப்யூச்சர் சில்ட்ரன்ஸ்க்கு நம்ம எதுவுமே எடுத்து வைக்கலை. அவங்கக்கிட்ட இருக்கிற எல்லா நேச்சுரல் திங்ஸும் நம்ம வந்துட்டு என்ன பண்ணுறோம்? we are just destroying everything so that tomorrow நம்ம சில்ட்ரன்க்கெல்லாம் ஒன்றுமே இல்லாமல் ஆக்குறோம். அவங்களோட ஃப்யூச்சரையும் அவங்களோட நேச்சர் சப்ளிமெண்ட்ஸையும் வந்துட்டு we are just borrowing பிடுங்கிக்கிறோம். I don't know how the future children is going to survive in this world. அதுக்காக இப்போ இருந்தாச்சு don't try to destroy a simple thing which is in your visibility, and don't encourage these plastics and chemicals, children. Okay, so this is about the sustainability of development, and the last 3 points are consequences of environmental degradation do not respect national or state boundaries. This issue is no longer region or nation specific. So environmental degradation, environmental nasty பண்றது, it will not give respect to our nation or the state boundaries, and it is not an issue for only our India. நம்ம இந்தியாவில் நம்ம எதாவது பண்ணனா இந்தியாவுக்கு மட்டுமே கிடையாது, it will affect the other countries also, and our future is linked together. Okay, sustainability of development is comparatively a new area of knowledge in which scientists, economics, philosophers and other social scientists are working together. And in general, the question of development or progress is perennial. At all times, as a member of society and as individuals, we need to ask where we want to go, what we wish to become, and what our goals are. So the debate on development continues. And another thing, we will be thinking that the place where we are living is full of greenery. Here all the plants or trees are happily growing, and we are also happily growing, having all organic food and natural things. But somewhere if the industrialists, they are constructing industries or they are destroying that will definitely affect us. Air pollution, water pollution, everything is affecting even us, right? Summer வந்தால் நாமளும் தான், நமக்குள்ள சுற்றி செடி இருந்தாலும் நமக்கு ஏன் ஹீட் அடிக்குது? Because it is just starting under the earth. அதனால எங்கேயோ யாரோ பண்ணுறாங்க, நம்ம இங்கே நல்லா தானே இருக்கிறோம். இல்லை, each and every citizen of the nation, of the country should take the steps to save our mother nature. And the questions of development and progress will always be continuous, and there are no full stops or no ending for these developmental questions, the progress questions. Okay, and all the time as a member of the society and as a human being, as an individual, we always need to ask where we should go and what we have to wish. That two things we have to keep in mind. And another thing, what are our goals? Not like becoming the doctor or engineer and getting more and more money. First, what is the way we have to travel, and what is the wishes we are just getting to, like what are the desires we need to earn, and what are our goals as a human being and as a society, not individual mindset like economical growth, இல்லையா? So இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் திங்க் பண்ணும்போது the debate session for the developing countries will always continues without any end. Okay children, so I hope you all have understood this concept. It is development, chapter 1 in economics. So if you have any doubts, feel free to ask me, and your classwork content will be posted in the group. in a PDF form. In the first session, I have posted only 7 questions. There are overall 13 questions in the book bag. 7 I have posted in the first session, and now in this session I am posting the remaining questions from 8 to 13. So don't forget to write the classwork content, but don't post the classwork content in the group, post only the activity part in the group. And if you see children, in the part public facilities in the textbook, in that public facilities, there is an activity 2 part, activity 2 in the public facilities part. That is your activity to do for your homework today. You have to do that, and you have to post only the activity part in the group and not the classwork content. Okay children, thank you so much for staying with me. Stay safe at home and obey your parents, and do your task perfectly and submit it to the group. Okay children, thank you so much, and this is your Priya ma'am signing off from Alpha International CBSE School. Thank you.